Okay, so we also heard from former DNI Clapper. He thinks that the U.S. institutions, things we care about and the foundations of our society are under attack, not only outside. He talked about Russia, but he said from inside. And when he was pressed on that, do you mean the president? He said, exactly. I mean, do you think that that's overblown? Is it appropriate?
Well, I think it's probably overblown in the sense that, I believe that our institutions are clearly being tested right now. And by that I mean the institutions of government, other institutions, certainly the news media are being tested as perhaps never before to properly cover a president whom they feel is unqualified and a man of bad character and dangerous. And the old adages that we all learned in journalism about being fair to whoever we cover, in news coverage anyway, seem to be out the window for the time being. That has inflamed public passions about the news media on both sides. So I cite that as an example, but I'm not sure that... Look, I think Trump contributes to this. The president contributes to this. The firing of Comey, for example. It wasn't the firing itself as the problem, it was the manner of it. And it was ham-handed, contradictory, and none of that contributes to people's confidence in the institution of the presidency or of the FBI. On the other hand, you look at the calls from Capitol Hill, where you're now beginning to hear Democrats say they won't even act to, they may not even act to confirm his nominee to replace Comey until a special prosecutor has been appointed to investigate what crimes we do not know, because no one has yet identified a crime that could have been committed in this. You hear about collusion, but collusion by itself is not a crime. So there we are, Shannon. It's a ferociously partisan atmosphere, and one of the results of that has been deterioration in people's confidence in our institutions.
Yeah, and to that point, GOP Senator Ben Sasse, he has a doctorate in history from Yale, former college president himself, he's worried about how things are going in this country as well. Here's what he said.
We are in the midst of a civilization warping crisis of public trust, and we need to talk honestly about our institutions that need to be restored and need to have the ability for people in 5 and 8 and 10 years to trust these institutions.
Britt, can D.C. do that?
Well, look at it this way, Shannon. Let us assume going forward that the institutions begin to perform and act as they're supposed to. That by itself, it's not easy, but that by itself would do more than anything to restore trust in them. The reason for the loss of trust is the failure to perform, I think, in many instances. So, we're in a time of testing. We'll see how the institutions perform. I'm not sure that having a big national conversation about it is going to advance anything. They simply, the people in these institutions simply have to do better.